President, on behalf of my colleagues, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, honorable members of the House of Representatives, I welcome you, our members of your executive team, to the 4th joint session of National Assembly on presentation of the budget proposals. I hereby invite Your Excellency to address this joint session and lay the 2019 budget proposal for the consideration of National Assembly in accordance with Section 1.
The Senate President, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, members of the National Assembly, state governors present here, members of the Federal Executive Council, senior government officials here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to present the 2019 budget proposal to this joint session of the National Assembly. This has been my last budget speech to the 8th National Assembly. I will review economic developments over the past 3 years and a half, with particular emphasis on 2018. I will then highlight the budget proposals for 2019, the full details of which will be given by the Honorable Minister of Budget and National Planning. The last 3.5 years have been challenging both at home and abroad. Commodity prices, both oil and non-oil, have been volatile. Global trends, be it security, trade, our politics, have also been unpredictable. Here in Nigeria, we have to cope with disruptions in oil production and exports, security challenges, and devastating floods. Through hard work and by the special grace of God, we have weathered these storms and made progress on many fronts, which is why we have cause to be optimistic about the future. The economy has recovered from recession. The economy has recovered from recession. And we had 6 quarters of growth since then. We have done more work with less resources in agriculture, infrastructure, and social investments. We have built better understanding between the federal government and the states on non-partisan fault lines, in particular, intervening several times to support states to meet their obligations, including the payment of salaries and pensions. Sustained development is difficult, if not impossible, in an atmosphere of insecurity and poor governance. We have therefore made strenuous and successful efforts to overcome the insurgency in the Northeast and to resolve intercommunal misunderstanding elsewhere. appeal to the honorable members that the world is watching us, and we are supposed
No, it's not true.
We are supposed to be above this. The federal government and the National Economic Council have been working in a unified and patriotic manner to tackle the underlying causes of tension between pastoralists and sedentary farmers. These conflicts have been a long-standing history caused mainly by competition for increasingly scarce resources, occasioned by rising population and erratic weather conditions, a product of climate change. I take this opportunity to salute the men and women in the armed forces and security services for their courage, sacrifice, and patriotism in protecting our collective safety and security. The federal government has also sustained its efforts in fight against corruption and improve public financial management.
Which corruption? Grass cutter.
And its efforts to improve public financial management through the comprehensive implementation of the Treasury Single Account, the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System, and the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System. You may recall that as part of our commitment to improve governance, we joined the Open Government Partnership in 2016 with the aim of enhancing public service delivery, promoting business opportunity, enhancing government efficiencies, preventing corruption, and building trust in government. We remain committed to these and other institutional reforms that will enhance transparency and accountability in public service delivery. We also recorded several successes in economic management. Real gross domestic product growth stood at 1.81% in the third quarter of 2018, compared to 1.7% in the third quarter of 2017. We have had a sustained accretion to foreign exchange reserves from a low of $28.57 billion United States dollars in May 2015 to $42.92 billion by December 2018. This has contributed to exchange rate stability and will provide a buffer against any anticipated external shocks. Inflation has also declined from a peak of 18.72% in January 2017 to 11.28% in November this year. In the area of trade, Nigeria has moved from a deficit to surplus in our trade balance. As at the third quarter of 2018, the trade balance was a surplus of 681.27 billion naira, representing a significant improvement from the deficit of 290.1 billion naira in 2016. This reflects the rebound in crude oil exports, increased non-oil exports, and a reduction in the importation of food and items that can be produced locally. Foreign capital inflows, including direct and portfolio investments, also responded to improved economic management. Capital importation to Nigeria in the third quarter of 2018 stood at $2.86 billion United States dollars, which is 56.7% increase compared to the corresponding period in 2016. Trading is a significant contributor to our economic development, but we must continue to focus on strengthening actual production. From farmers to miners to processors to digital entrepreneurs to players in the entertainment industry, all hands must be on deck to ensure the country succeeds. With regard to the oil and gas sector, crude oil production continued to increase steadily towards budgetary targets and will receive a further boost when the 200,000 barrels per day Egina oil field start operations. In agriculture, we are seeing increased investment across the entire value chain, from agricultural inputs to farming and ultimately food processing. Barely 3 years ago, Nigeria was spending $5 million United dollars a day on rice importation. Today, rice imports have virtually stopped. Indeed, we are on course to achieve food security in.
Thank you very much. Well, the past budget will also have to be fair to the executive. Now, this, if you define budget, is the issue of income and expenditure. It's an estimate about income and expenditure. If you have an expenditure and their income did not flow very well, you may not have full implementation of the budget, or you will not even have full implementation of the budget. But I think at this time, even for this government to take us out of recession through budgetary provision and other activities, I think they have done very well. But however, as I said, and as we always say, we cannot continue as a nation the way we are. We have to, I said, check the status quo. The current budget as we see it, honestly, is designed by the civil servant, sometimes, again, the minister and whatever. Therefore, if you look at critically into Nigerian budget, in the last 4 years that I have remained here, we cannot have national development with this kind of budget. The reason is not far away from the fact that there are state component in the budget and there are local government component in the budget. You will see roads that are meant for the state or roads that are meant for the local government are incited, not by National Assembly first, by the civil servant. You will see a director who is in charge of issue of budget in Ministry of Works, for instance. You will see how many roads he will insert to his own village. These roads are not federal roads. You know, these bridges are not federal bridges. And therefore, anybody who thinks magic can take place for Nigerian budget to be so perfect is a liar. I'm Chika Adamu. I represent Shirora Ifemunya Federal Constituency. I'm from Niger State.